Holy shit, I never thought this video would see the light of day, to be honest with you guys. Just to answer your question as to why you're hearing the classical tinklings of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony and some Gustav Holst instead of the game audio. That's because, let me back up a little bit. I had a hell of a time just beating these levels. And I don't mean beating them on film, I mean beating them in general. The difficulty spikes so hard from level 2 to level 3 that it was a fucking miracle. I'm not gonna mince words. It was a goddamn Christmas miracle that I was able to actually get footage of me beating these levels. And then, of course, there's also the Christmas nightmare of me finally watching, after like 20 takes, this footage that I've actually recorded and hearing no game audio whatsoever. So you know what? Fuck you, Gish. Fuck you to all the recording programs I use, even though I love you every other day. So we're just gonna hear the relaxing sounds of some, classical artists throughout this, and hopefully you'll find it relaxing as I just die. And I swear to God, I watched the whole video with just it recording my laptop's internal microphone, and every time I die, just the sounds of frustration, the sighs and the screams will forever haunt my dreams. Gish gets hard, if you haven't been listening so far. It gets very hard, and I know I've been comparing it to Meat Boy a lot, but I'm really starting to feel this crunch where you don't have enough lives to really practice the levels. Meat Boy had a good level of difficulty because it was insanely difficult, but you basically had unlimited tries at all of the levels. In this, you got 5 lives and that's it. I guess technically 6 because they give you a 0 with life, but still. So yeah, what that means is that by the time you're actually good enough to beat an entire world without losing all your lives, you're usually pretty good at the first world and dog shit at the later ones. So that is a major complaint that has honestly somewhat soured my experience with the game, and I'm not sure how much is left, how much harder the game could actually get, but I seriously contemplated just calling this Let's Play off. I know it's super serious business, like let the US government know to take us up to DEFCON 5. Northern Line was going to cancel a Let's Play of Gish, but no, seriously, I was beyond frustrated. I cannot put into words how frustrated I've been over the past few days trying to record this footage. But in any case, here it is, so let's focus on the positive. Game music, actually pretty good. Too bad you can't hear it. The puzzles are a lot more inventive than they were, and they're less just jumping puzzles, but the obstacles are so hard that I find myself dying. To the game's credit, I feel like it's less because of the controls the more I play. Maybe I'm just getting used to the awkward controls. And more just due to the level design, but oh man, I just had... This is my own personal hell here. But that level's not so bad, only 50 seconds. And the boss is not so bad either. But everything else makes me want to put a goddamn 50 caliber bullet through my brain. Anyway, I guess I suppose I will stop complaining now. I feel like I've gotten most of it out of my system for now, although, we got like another 12 minutes left, so I'm sure it might come up again in the future. This puzzle, I actually kind of like this puzzle. It really is kind of like a rude awakening in terms of getting acclimated with the jumping controls, because you've got to be basically perfect to make this one to the top. But that's good, because unlike some of the other puzzles around this area in the game, falling off doesn't mean instant death by spikes or lava, so you kind of, this is the easy section, as ridiculous as that might sound right now. This is your practice tunnel. So make it up. Yeah, that was actually a surprisingly good jump on my part too. And I like this puzzle as well. It's not really a jumping puzzle so much as just like a swinging puzzle. It's all about momentum. And the game does that really well. I can't complain at all about the physics. And I'm a little bit... I've warmed up to the controls, let's just say. I know in my last video I was somewhat critical of them. I was maybe a little bit harsh. If you can get past that period where you really, really are having a hard time with the controls, there's a lot of fun to be had in Gish, despite the fact that it will knock you on your ass. And I know I'm not very far into the game, and this is probably pretty biased, because I've practiced a lot of Meat Boy, so I don't feel like Meat Boy is as hard as, I probably did the first day I bought it. But I feel like Gish is harder than Meat Boy up to this point. Mostly a little bit because of the learning curve when it comes to the controls, but also because of the life cap that they have. And really, I guess I can't complain too much because there's extra lives in every level, or almost every level that I've seen so far. I should just mention before I go on, there's a warp zone up there, but I did not get to it on this run. And you can basically go suck my dick if you think I'm going to play through this again and get to the warp zone. But, it is, I think, harder than Meat Boy, partly due to the controls, like I said, and partly due to the life cap. And yeah, there are extra lives in basically every level. I'm just kind of ignorant of where they are, and also lazy, and also frustrated, which makes a bad combination when you're searching for secrets in a game like this. This is one of the hardest obstacles in the entire game so far, actually. Just doing the 180 on this so you can get around the bottom and then traverse it. Transverse? Anyway, that's the last obstacle in the level, thank God. Then we move on to 3-5, which I'm not a huge fan of in terms of level design, but it's kind of cool, I guess. It's unique anyway, let's put it that way. The reason it's a pain in the ass is because you have to do a lot of like sticking and carrying, which in the second video where I throw that rock to break the dirt to make the boulders fall, you'll understand like I'm not a big fan of those types of puzzles in this game. But that's alright. At least when you mess these up, you don't die. Because I'm quickly finding out how precious life is in this game. Life is more precious in Gish than it is in the real world. So, man. Alright, so this is where I got stumped for a while too. You've got to kind of utilize the physics to make this skull column or skull pillar move out a little bit. So we'll throw this skull out of the way. And then, yeah, we'll try to ease it over, and then we'll slip in between the crack and get hard. Wow, I swear to you, that was entirely unintentional, but that is a great "that's what she said" moment. Where's Michael Scott when you need him? Alright, now if I could just... yeah, there we go. I am the world's greatest Gish player. That is actually how I felt when I actually beat these levels, and then I was looking at the game online. It's like, oh, there's how many levels left? Fuck. Now this is probably the worst obstacle for me in the game. Just, yeah, every time I stick to the cube, I also get stuck on the wall, or I get stuck to the spikes, which is the worst because you're trying to get off. It's like that scene in this like Italian horror movie called Suspiria. One of the most horrifying scenes in any movie I've ever seen, where a girl just kind of like doesn't look before she jumps off somewhere, and she lands on a bunch of barbed wire, and it's like pulling her in as she's trying to get out, and the more she struggles, the more she gets caught up in it. Oh, it's horrible. And yeah, that's exactly what that reminded me of, as I struggled and eventually died anyway. But I will eventually conquer that. Spoiler alert, I do beat the levels here. And normally I sometimes like to put on the guise that I am doing live commentary, and sometimes I do live commentary. This is not live commentary, this is post commentary. All because it's basically a borderline, it's a celebration but also a post-mortem. Why I died when I died, and why I'm so happy now that I've actually made it through these levels. I know I've been very, not critical actually, the exact opposite. I've been very, very kind to Gish, recommending it, suggesting that everyone give it a shot if they can find a copy. I honestly think, I'm not sure how much this game is going for now outside of the humble indie bundle. I'm not sure I would throw down too much cold hard cash for it. Maybe I think $5 would be reasonable. If it's anything over that, I would be disinclined to pick it up, given the additional experience I have with the game right now. Again, it's old, 5-6 years ago when it came out. Certainly would have been worth whatever they were charging for it, because I assume it was not, full retail price. But now, there's better things you can get with that money. Like Meat Boy, which, if you're following the Steam sale, you can get for under $10 some days. Although it will be $15 after January 2nd, so if you haven't gotten that, I would definitely recommend you get on that. I might actually pick up a copy for myself, even though I have the 360 version. Oh, yeah, this is like watching a train wreck. I got totally sandwiched between the cube and the spikes there, and I was stuck to both of them. There was literally no way out. So 49 health, I'm not sure how hopeful I am. But the level is almost over. If I can just... Ooh, that was close. Right, this is the hard part, making the switch right here. So if you can just do that without taking too much damage, you're usually okay. Alright, so far so good. I made it up. This part is actually relatively easy, as long as you just let those, you know, Mr. Bites fall down and kill themselves. Or at least not get on you. Oh, wow, I'm surprised. It looks like we might actually make it to the end. There is one obstacle left, but it's actually not that hard. Particularly within the context of the world so far. So we'll just stick to this. As long as we can ride it through to the end, we should be okay. Oh, that is a relief. And I remember, like, basically crapping my pants here, thinking, like, are they going to put lava at the bottom of this and I'm just going to fall to my death? Anyway, here is the boss from the 7 Plains of Hehenna. I actually figured out there is a way to skip these text boxes at the start, but I did not figure it out until my second playthrough of the boss. So yes, just suffer through them for now, and I promise the relief will come in the future. This boss continues the tradition of Gish in that the bosses are relatively easy compared to the levels that preceded them. And I guess that's a tradition that's continued in Meat Boy as well, for the most part. And now I'm just struggling to find exposition to kind of fill up this, you know, 1 minute gap where we're about to get Gish's, straight face right there. And if only I had known that I could just hit the spacebar key and skip by that. Oh, the minutes of my life that I would have saved and not regretted on my deathbed as I whispered them into the ear of a comely young nurse. In any case, your MO for this boss is very simple. Like, these guys have the horrifying power of ripping open their chests and shooting enemies at you. You just gotta climb up on the wall and then drop on them as heavy, and you will break the floor underneath them, and they will fall in. And if you're smarter than me, you won't fall in after them, and that's kind of the general idea. And I think this is where I figure out that you can actually skip. And I become elated and subsequently beat the game without any problems whatsoever. Wishful thinking. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Sorry for getting your hopes up, guys. This might be the one where I ended up getting gang raped. This is the one I'm thinking of. It looks like something I saw in a porno one time. So we'll just climb up the wall. I'm already down to 60 health. These guys do a fair amount of damage. Alright, come on. Climb it. Climb it. Sometimes I have a lot of trouble with, like, just hit detection. Just making sure I hit these guys. And also, like, I think it really depends where you land on them. Like, I think you have to pretty much land right on their neck. Otherwise, they don't have a neck really, but where their neck would be. And otherwise, they kind of just absorb it in their big, fat, veiny thighs, I guess. If I never see that animation of the guy ripping open his chest, and, you know, like, chest bursting and alien young again, it will be too soon. You know, Einstein once said that insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So let's change up our strategy a little bit here. And let's try to take on the other guy. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember distinctly almost getting butt-fucked right there. So let's try it this way now. And see if maybe if he comes back, I'll stand a chance of getting to him. Because it wasn't working before. Let's utilize our Gish jumping powers to get up on the wall. Where the fuck is this guy? Hello? Oh, there he is. Good. Just in time. See him rip open his pectorals. Give birth to my nightmares. Oh, I think he's in a good position. I think if we just go to the top here, we should be able to take him down. Yeah, okay. And then if we land on him one more time, maybe we can push him through. Excellent. Now, I've only got 2 health, so I don't hold up too much hope here. But it's possible that I could actually beat the boss at this point. Which are words that, for a long time, I never thought I would hear coming out of my mouth with respect to this game. I'm really hoping the difficulty lets up a little bit, because otherwise this Let's Play is going to be a goddamn nightmare to finish. Now, it'd be really helpful if I could just, yeah, knock him down on the first or second one there. He's clinging on by his heels. Yeah, we'll push him in. And that is the end of that, thank God. So all I have to do now is survive these, or this last bonus mission. Oh, and it's the Indiana Jones level, okay. This one is not so bad. The thing you need to know is when you're on a slope, if you want to go really fast, hold S and D down at the same time. It makes you slippery and heavy, so you get quite a lot of speed. As long as I can get over this before the rock gets here, I should be okay. Yeah, and I guess that's a preview of our next levels there. We're in an Egyptian temple. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this miraculous, for me, run. I will see you next time.